Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. It is Monday, July 15th, 2024, and welcome to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. You know, we have a great topic this week. We started off on Saturday with Dr. Stillman, and the topic is what we don't know about our bodies. That's the general topic. Today's topic is what happens in your body 4 times daily at 100 miles per hour. We're on Series 3, Show 29, Episode number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so grateful for you guys being with me here at 7:49 p.m. or 7:49 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 12 noon, 12 midnight. It doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for taking the time to make Inspirations for Your Life a daily part of your day. I really do appreciate that very, very much. And we have a great show for you tonight. All right. So, what happens in your body 4 times daily at 100 miles per hour? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Sneezing. Yes. You actually sneeze 4 times daily. Did you know that? You sneeze 4 times daily. And yes, it's at 100 miles, can be up to 100 miles per hour. That's no joke. But you don't sneeze while sleeping. So don't worry about that because you're not going to sneeze while you're sleeping. It's pretty easy going there. But the thing is, sneezes can be really daunting for some people. It's like, oh, and it's like, and then people say, do you always, this is the question, do you always sneeze in threes? So you might have known that we often sneeze in threes, and it's with great force, as I said, and velocity. And a single sneeze is sometimes enough to clear irritant out of your system, but a triple sneeze happens when we need to get deeper irritants out. So we'll talk more about that in just a second, but I want to share with you something very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Sneezes can reach a radius of 5 feet. 5 feet. That's right, you heard me. 5 feet. That's a lot, guys. I mean, that is quite a bit. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it might seem challenging, but it's pretty amazing. And I think it's important that you understand that sneezing is an important part of life. It's a very, very important part of life. Why? Because we'll learn what sneezing's about in just a minute. But I think it's important to understand what sneezing is and, why is it that we do sneezing? And I'll talk about that, in just a minute. But I think the most important thing to understand is sneezing is natural. So you're probably asking me, hey, John, I'm very confused here. Why is it? It's a great question. Why do we sneeze? Is it to aggravate people? So sneezing is the body's way to remove things that irritate parts of your nose. If something gets in your nose that doesn't belong there, a message goes to the brain. It says, hey, brain, activate a series of muscles in the belly, the chest, or the head to create the action we call sneezing. So what is the purpose of sneezing? It's a protective reflex that's developed in response to irritation of the lining of the nose and allows for different particles to be forcefully expelled from the nose, thus protecting the nose, the airway, and the body from subsequent harm. So it's a self-contained system that allows us to protect ourselves. Okay? That's pretty much what sneezing is. All right? But sometimes sneezing can, scare people. Like, oh my gosh, it's absolutely crazy. But sneezing is important. I will tell you that sneezing as I said, often happens in threes. So sneezing is that forceful reflex that the brain triggers, and it allows things to just be blown out of the system, right? Um, the thing about sneezing, as we said before, sneezing, ladies and gentlemen, can actually reach, as I said to you, a radius of over 5 feet. This is why when there was the COVID scare, people were like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, because they were able to sneeze. And that sneeze basically could spread germs quite a distance, even without people being touched. So sneezing is very, very important. And I'll tell you that it's something that you may or may not understand, but it's an important part of our life. I mean, it's a really, really important part. And when we know the sneezing is a reflex, then I think we can appreciate the fact that sneezing is here for our greater good. Okay. It's not something that's supposed to alarm us, but sneezing can frighten people sometimes, right? Again, it is the body's own self-defense system for getting rid of any environmental irritants such as smoke, perfumes, and air pollution, allergies like pet dander, pollen, mold, or dust mites, infections like a common cold, COVID-19, and the flu, dry air also irritates the mucous membranes in the nose. Pepper contains a substance called pepperine, which irritates the nasal passage. People say to me, hey, John, why do we close our eyes when we sneeze? So most people close their eyes, basically involuntarily to shield themselves from irritants ejected via their nose and mouth. And so that's a pretty neat thing. And we do sneeze a few times in a row. People often sneeze many times in a row. If their first sneeze does not clear the passageway, well, then another whopper comes out, right? Rest assured, the second or third sneeze is the body's way of ensuring any irritants safely expel from your nose. Why do sneezes feel good? Well, sneezing can be pleasurable. A sneeze relieves the tickly feeling in your nose instantly. Is it bad to hold a sneeze? As you might want to hold a sneeze if you're in the middle of a presentation, experts often agree it's best to just let it happen, okay? Sneezing generates strong pressure, and the pressure, if you hold it too long, can rupture your eardrum. So you don't want to do that, or even blood vessels in your eyes and brains if you not release it. So it's important that you do allow your sneeze to happen naturally. That is very, very important. It's a natural way of life. And I think a lot of people don't realize the fact that our nose is very, very powerful. So our nose is a self-defense system that the body has, and allows us to get rid of any irritants in our body. Okay. Something that a lot of people may or may not understand, but you'll find that it's something that we need to do, and it will make us feel much, 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 much better. So the key is do not hold your sneezes back. Don't hold your sneezes back. There's no reason for that. And so if you can think about sneezing for a moment, maybe thinking about, things that make us sneeze, right? You've probably thought about those things before, and you're like, so if we were to, let's say, dissect the nasal, so how do we actually sneeze? If we wanted to, let's say, dissect it a little more. So it's a sudden burst of air that's expelled from the lungs through the nose and the mouth, and it's the result of inflammation of the trigeminal nerve in the nose. And the nerve is linked to the sneeze center of the brain stem and sends signals that prompt a person to sneeze. Again, when you sneeze, the abdomen and chest muscles activate, compressing your lungs and producing a blast of air. Then the back of your tongue elevates partially, closing the passage to your mouth and forcing the air through both your nose and mouth. So if you're still on the fence saying, hey, John, what is the logic behind sneezing? Because I just don't get it. Well, the short of it is it gets rid of contaminants that enter our body, because when we're in the world, there could be things that, will get into our nose, right? Maybe you're outside. Like I said, pollen. It could be a lot of different things. Sometimes people will sneeze 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row. 3 to 5 is really the common. One study had found that 95% of people sneeze about 4 times a day. Some people notice they sneeze the same number of times every time. So if you're sneezing a lot, it means that the air around you probably isn't clear, and that there are things that need to get out of your body. So sneezing is something that, again, I think we should really be grateful for, because it helps keep us healthy. Sneezing protects the body. And, that sneeze that comes out often makes us feel very, very good to do. So sneezes are fast. The sneeze can travel, as we said, 100 miles per hour and send about 2,000 to 5,000 bacteria-filled droplets into the air. So sneezes definitely have some distance. The droplets can reach a distance of about 5 feet in radius. And that's why covering your nose and mouth when you sneeze is definitely a good thing to do. The droplets can linger in the air, ladies and gentlemen, for about 10 minutes. So even if you've sneezed and there are germs and you leave, that air can still be contaminated for 10 minutes. A sneeze is a nasal restart, and whatever irritated your nose area to create the sneeze overwhelmed the nasal system so much it's like shutting down a computer and restarting it, and then it kind of reboots. So there's a lot that happens when we think about a sneeze. You might have heard the origin of bless you. Have you ever wondered why people often say bless you when you sneeze? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One ties to Pope Gregory the Sixth in the 7th century, who would bless those who sneeze so they wouldn't fall ill to the plague. Another explanation points to the Greek word for sneeze, pneumonia, which means soul or spirit. The belief was that sneezing is a near-death experience and that a blessing will keep you alive. That all links to the belief that your heart stops when you sneeze. So that is an interesting question. Does your heart stop when you sneeze? So you might have heard that your heart skips a beat when you sneeze, but it's a myth. The electrical signals that control your heart rate aren't affected by physiological changes that happen when you sneeze, but the heart may get delayed for a second or two before resuming its regular rhythm, but don't panic about that. Ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am by now, but if you don't, I'm going to share that with you. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you. I've got so much to share with you this week. We're talking about all the things that you want to know about your body that you never got to know because when you were born, no one seems to hang around for the manual. We just kind of ditch and get ice cream or we go somewhere, right? Well, have yourself a great rest of your evening. Do check out all my amazing content. Like, love, and support it. Definitely follow it, especially on TikTok. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another great episode. All right, everyone? Be well.